Guys, I just got an awesome email from one of my buyers. And believe it or not, it actually moved me to tears.
What are you laughing for? I'm being serious. I'm being serious.
Alright guys, so I just sold this really cool vintage Fisher-Price movie theater type thing where you turn the knob and it plays these videos without sound. Really neat. The person that bought from me had this really cool email that they just sent me, and I really want to read it. When I was a very young single mom, I was living with my parents to get on my feet. I had a really good dad, kind and loving. But he expected, yes, Dad, when he told us to do something, even as adults. My daughter was about 3 years old and my niece was about 7. One evening, I told the girls we would watch 2 of these movies and then off to bed. Dad was watching TV in the living room and we were in the kitchen. We were setting up the projector and he called in. Put those girls to bed. I replied, right after the movies. He said, now. And I said, I told them they could see a movie first and it would only be 15 minutes. So I was respectful, but I was not complying. He walked through the kitchen, and the next thing I know, we're in the dark. He had flipped the breaker and turned off the electric only to the kitchen. He returned to the TV. I'm sure he thought, the good old obedient daughter, I would then comply. So instead, I found a flashlight, found the breaker box, and flipped off the rest of the house, including his TV. I then took the girls, who, by the way, were not complaining, and I tucked them into bed and went to my own bed. I could hear Dad laughing. It was one of the few times in my life I ever talked back to him. He respected that I was trying to be a good mom, and that was about 40 years ago. So first of all, just really cool that my buyer felt like they could tell me, you know, this life story, something, a really cool memory of theirs. But even more, they went even further and shared this with me. She says, I miss my dad so much, and this toy is a warm and special memory. My girls remember it too. We will play the movies now with my grandchildren. Thank you so much and happy holidays. Something that I never thought would happen, you know, as I was doing, you know, landscaping and stuff like that. I never really thought that I would like actually make people happy and actually bring joy to people's life from video games and toys and, you know, old vintage clothing. It's just been so cool that reselling has actually done something for me, that it's made me feel good about my job, that I'm able to actually bring up memories. I mean, this was something that meant a lot about her and her dad. And you know, I used to watch these videos and think, man, this is so cheesy, until it happened to me. Until something that I sold somebody. And yes, I made money off of it. But what was even cooler is that I was able to have a girl remember her time with her dad. And remember the time when her children were young. She now has grandchildren. And she's able to tell the stories about her dad. You know, it also makes me think, as you guys know, I mostly sell video games. As I look through these games and I started picking up games and I was like, wow, this game really reminds me of me and my brother. For example, you know, a lot of my friends had Super Smash Bros. On the 64, but when me and my brother got the GameCube and we played Super Smash Bros. Melee, it was, we played that thing all the time. We had competitions and, you know, so now like getting these games and being able to hold them in a collection and I'm not just selling them, it means something to me. And you know, it seems silly, I'm not even really a gamer, at least like I once was. I play games here and there with my children. Even for me, like, this has brought up memories. It's almost like it's restored something that was lost. Things that I can't get back. Just being able to look at this and kind of look back, it's the same thing as putting pictures and, you know, and I used to laugh at it and think it was silly and these people were crazy, but these things are able to bring up memories. I'm able to go sit down with my kids and say, hey, me and my cousins used to do this. We used to sit in the living room and my parents would watch us play. I hope that some of the toys that my kids are playing with now, that they can go back to their kids and remind them. Yes, I'm a man of faith, and what matters most to me is the gospel, and what matters most is that people know the Lord, but there's also just something really neat that I'm able to bring joy to people, reminding people of this stupid flies flying around me. It's just really neat to know that I can bring joy to people and, you know, bring these games that they had as a child. And there was a game called Alundra, and it's a one-player role-playing game. But I remember me and my best friend across the street, we used to always go every week, and I would stay at his house on the weekends, and we would rent these games. And this one particular that we rented was Alundra. I remember playing that, and we stayed up for hours and hours playing it, and we never beat it because we were just renting it. And so now I have it, and just looking at the case reminds me of those days. I'll occasionally pop it in, play it, and it reminds me you know, friendships. I don't even talk to that guy anymore. It's just something really special to remember this. So this business has been amazing. Reselling has been awesome. And for all of you that are reselling or collecting, you probably can relate to me. So what I would like, you know, in the comments, guys, tell me about something that you recently sold that really meant something to somebody. They reminded them of college or high school, or reminded them of time with their kids, or maybe a heartwarming story like this where somebody was remembering their family that had passed away, their brother, whatever. Maybe a collection. Maybe you've picked up something recently that means a lot to you. I'd love to hear the story, so please, yeah, go ahead and tell me about it. But even in the midst of nostalgia and memories, you got to remember, for all of you resellers, buy low, sell high, and there ain't no high like the Most High.